Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Right, big up our sponsors, LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Also, big up Fanatics, official partners of La Liga and Madrid. Go check them out using the affiliated link in the description below. Also, go show some love to Talksport, probably the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their social some love. Everything on LBR is officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. Right then, back to back special guests for this time around. After what we kind of had last year, we couldn't miss out on a chance to get Martin back on the channel. Pick up yourself, Martin. Always so much warmth, so much love from you guys, and really appreciate it being here. It's an absolute pleasure.
No, it's a pleasure being on. Thank you for asking. I don't know how much more I can add following, Big Steve last night, but I'll give it the best.
100%, 100%. I mean, you guys are all pals, right? Like, you guys know each other for years. So, Steve always, used to talk highly about you. So I really wanted to get you on last year, and we, kind of managed to find the time, even though it was kind of last minute and whatnot. Hope we didn't cause a huge inconvenience for you, because it was like literally a couple hours before the game and whatnot.
Yeah, it's never an inconvenience. I love coming on. It's becoming an annual ritual.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hope it hasn't gotten tiring to the point that you just don't know how to handle the stress anymore. At least for me, that has been the case with City ties. Usually, it never really makes me feel settled going into a game. If you know what I mean, Martin.
I've not been settled one game at all season.
Oh yeah. So me neither.
Tomorrow's not going to be any different. I used to go in these games. I used to go in a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive, and now I go in really enjoying them because I know it's going to be two top teams going at it, both a little bit off in their own way for whatever reason at the moment. Both going through a bit of a wobble this season. Both suffering major injury issues, especially at the back.
Yeah.
So it's a very similar case. You're obviously top. We're obviously like fifth. So I think that's one of the differences this year.
Yeah. Us being top doesn't really tell the whole story, I'll be honest, but we'll get into it, in detail for sure. But big up Jacob, man. You were here. We did the preview with Martin last year. Martin didn't quite really have any idea what he was getting into, right? That game. Like, he was very naive, in my opinion.
I mean, if you ask me that, Ancelotti would he actually park the bus at the Etihad? I would say no. That was never part of our plan. I didn't think it would work, to be honest. Even when it did look like we were winning, I thought, okay, it's just a matter of time. But that moment 100%. Never arrived, and I think the whole world was naive except for Ancelotti and the guys.
Yeah, Martin, how would you kind of digest that? Because when you were leaving for the game, I still remember you were kind of apprehensive. You knew the stakes, and you knew Madrid has quite possibly learned their lesson from the previous meeting, which was a 4-0 thrashing at the Etihad. What kind of changed that game, in your opinion?
I think for me, it made me realise Madrid, and this is the funny thing. I think people started to look at Manchester City and the Etihad in a very different light.
Yeah,
and I think what that showed me was last year, didn't matter who it was coming, didn't matter their history, their reputation.
Yeah,
City was a game that opponents were going to respect. Very similar to the the Old Trafford days in the 90s and the 2000s, when nobody wanted to go to Old Trafford.
Oh yeah,
everyone was a bit worried. And that's what I did take a lot of courage out of that last season.
Yeah.
I've never seen Real Madrid play like that before. Never. I'm not with that much respect. But penalties, it hurt. Still hurts now. It is what it is. It's one of them.
Yeah.
You come out of it going, we're out, but we didn't really lose because I'm one of these. I don't class penalties as losing. Because it's a lottery, and then, but it was a very strange game. I always find the Etihad very different to the Bernabeu. I always find it so different because I believe for City to do anything in this time, we've got to do our job tomorrow night. In the Bernabeu, I worry. Because as you know, we just don't do well at the Bernabeu a lot. One of them grounds where we either play well for 70 minutes and collapse for the last 20, or play well for 80 minutes and collapse for the last 5 minutes. And by the way, this goes all the way back to the Roberto Mancini days. As you were McCullough and the Jacko tie, and Mr. Ronaldo himself pops up and knocks us out 2 minutes later.
The Mourinho knee slide, yeah.
He sat there going, and that he just carried on. But listen, I'm always excited for this. The one thing I've said, because I know a lot of City fans, Steve I think mentioned this, there's a lot of worry and apprehensive for tomorrow night amongst the City fan base. Some think we're going there to get a good item.
Okay.
And I said, you know, I've listened, because I always listen to both sides, and I've listened to Ancelotti's comments. Vinny Jr. today and other people. Real Madrid are not looking forward to this tie either.
Yeah.
This is the thing people have forgotten, and that's why I think it could be an absolute epic tie in the end. I really do think this could be an epic tie.
Jacob, like you heard Martin, you know, basically wax lyrical about the Bernabeu, but then it's the same for us with the Etihad, right? Like probably, like we kind of enable them to have this kind of Champions League reputation. To be honest, like they had quite a good record, especially combining both the Premier League and the Champions League at home. But what they did to us kind of reinforced that belief all throughout Europe.
Yeah, what they did to us, and even when we won, we never won convincingly against them. It was always a difficult away tie. They've always given us problems, and we know even when we win, we're never confident. Both of these teams have so much mutual respect for each other. Even at their worst, we still respect each other so much. And I feel like even Pep's comments and Ancelotti's comments both reiterated that. But for me, like the difference just heading into this tie is just that in previous years, we always have figured out that, the winner of this tie could potentially is probably going to win the Champions League. This time around, it's not the case. It's completely different. I don't think either of us really expects to go that super far in the Champions League, even if we do win this matchup.
Ancelotti was confident in mentioning that, the team who wins this tie goes far. History, speaks itself, and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure it's, his PR machine at full throttle, because I've seen a few City games. I wouldn't say I have watched City throughout the season, but some of the major ties, like the Arsenal tie, like which I want to kind of focus on tonight, Martin. The way you kind of got dismantled at Arsenal, like let's not get it twisted. Arsenal are a great side. They are street smart in how they know what their strengths are and kind of capitalize on moments in games. They aren't City at their peak, nowhere near. That's what they aspired to kind of start the Mikel Arteta revolution, if I may call it one. But eventually they found out the hard way that they aren't really quite fit for that. But then now what they are, is a team that is very adept at, utilizing their set pieces and their, lanky centre backs to, win matches. But the way City got ran through wasn't really characteristic of how City has been over the years, and I've seen that on multiple occasions. If you take the PSG game, for instance, you had the game in your palm, right? And also the game against Sporting. Martin, kind of walk us through what really goes wrong. Is it just the midfield equation that is so unbalanced?
What you saw at Arsenal has been our whole problem all season. Been our whole problem, from defending to midfield. It's that link, and I'm not going to use Rodra. I've heard that. So I disagree with people who think it's just Rodra. What I think it is a combination of so many things. I don't think you can put one pinpoint answer to it. It's a combination of players being injured, being rushed back. It's a combination of players that I've never said this before, but I've thought it for a little while now. Some players have got too used to winning in their own hype.
Yeah.
And you will know what I mean by that. So sometimes you just get players who they've won so much.
Yeah.
Motivation is not as there as what it maybe once was. So whereas you've got, I'm trying to give an example. You've got for example, and I hate using this, say a John Stones who's fighting for a contract. He's 25.
Yeah.
And he's winning these trophies and he's fighting and he's like, no, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. What's he got to prove? What's he got to prove to anyone now? Edison, the goaler, what's he got to prove? He's won everything he can. Not just in English football, in world football. Yeah. He's won everything. He opens up his trophy cabinet and he's got medal after medal after medal from every tournament federation you possibly can. And I honestly do think the rebuild that has now started is probably, well, in hindsight, overdue.
Yeah.
And I hate looking at hindsight.
Sorry to cut you off, Martin. I kind of want to kind of hone in on focus on Ederson, right? Like I've never really gotten the opportunity to ask someone from the other side of the divide regarding the goalkeeping situation, because the more I see City's lineups being announced, the more I see such incohesive decisions, especially like from like an outsider like myself. Like when I look at the goalkeeping situation, like it is such a crucial position whereby the relationship between the defense and the goalkeeper should be at almost telepathic for it to function well. But then when Pep switches it every 3 days, like I don't know what he's expecting really.
It annoys me. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. Our defense this year has been all over the place.
Yeah.
One thing you need is a consistency between a goalkeeper and a defender. If you're doing what I call the Arteta game, where you're rotating every single game to try and, whether it's injury, disputes, making people happy, you've now got 3 key points in your pitch all disconnected. You've got your goalie to your defence to your midfield, and your midfield to your attack. That chain is broken across all 3 points now. So what you then, instead of having what Pep normally has, which is a full rhythm between goalie straight through to attack, you end up with 3 separate camps or 4 separate camps. You've got your goalie, your defenders, your midfielders, your attackers. And it's as though all of them are on their own little island.
Yeah.
And they're only worried about their job. And that was never the case. That's never been the case. But the Ederson thing has took people by surprise. I'll be honest with you, and I've always said this, I think if we'd have got the right money in the summer, I think Ederson would have gone.
That's shocking. Really, yeah?
I think the Saudi money really got in his head. He's got in his head. But when someone's offering you generational wealth, £800,000 a week, and you're from, the streets of Brazil, that is
the favelas.
That is a very. I don't think. And people talk about his wage. He's only on about 90 or 100 grand at City, which is actually not a lot of money compared for a goalkeeper of his stature.
Yeah.
I totally agree. But to him, he's looked at it in 2 different ways at the time. I'm from the streets of Favela and I'm okay. 100 grand a week is money to me. Someone knocks on your door and backs £800,000 a week up. I think we're all giving that a second, third, and fourth look, and I don't think that's ever gone out of his head. Sadly, I don't think it has. Again, comes back to I'm never going to win that here. I've won everything I've won.
Yeah.
Let me go and set my family up for the rest of not just his family, his kids' family, his kids' family for the rest of his life. And it's crazy. It really is. But it's sad. But I'll put it this way: the City you're looking at now,
Yeah.
will not even be the same City in 12 months. There is a massive. This rebuild is exactly that. It's a rebuild. So on one hand, I'm disappointed. I'm sad we're losing Edison. We're going to be losing other people, but I'm excited for the future.
Yeah.
Because what I think we've done is, as a fan base, we've been very sentimental. As you lads will know, with when Raul left and Benzema left and all that, you go back down the years of all the greats that have left Santiago Bernabeu, you realise that no, there is a future. There is a future. And you've got to embrace that future. Because if you don't, you're going to hang on to the past forever and you'll end up like Man United.
Martin, there's a difference because Madrid historically has always been a very cutthroat institution in terms of not just their players, but technical staff, anything. So my takeaway from the whole thing is this is City's finest generation, isn't it?
Yeah, I probably fine.
You wouldn't call it
in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, yeah. I'm talking now, the 11 now. Over the last 10 years, yeah, it's been above and beyond.
The four-peat Centurions, the treble-winning season,
Club World Cup, everything. Yeah. It was a dream to win one FA Cup and a League Cup for me when I was a kid. I very much like seeing it. Never mind having a gold badge on the front to say you're the world's best. That was that was something. I used to watch Real Madrid play Man United in 1997 and watch Ronaldo run all R9 run all over Old Trafford, and I was like, wow.
That was in 2003, but
you know what I mean. Them days, Real Madrid used to watch on the telly, ITV, and I never thought City'd ever get there. That was a pipe dream. It wasn't even a pipe dream. That was some made-up hocus pocus stuff that City were ever going to go to that level. I never ever thought I'd ever see them days. So to me, this will be the greatest ever in my eyes. I don't see it getting better than this.
Yeah, but on the same note, you would say a clear out is well overdue. Like I would ask you, Jacob, like when you look at our goalkeeping situation and how Carlo kind of dealt with it, because Lunin won us, the double last year. Martin very well knows, he had the front row seats for Lunin's save against Bernardo Silva. A bit of mind games involved and whatnot. Bernardo Silva probably, the people on that side of the divide, they claim, he was kind of distracted. He had to wait for the ball and whatnot. But Lunin, played to his, strength and then kind of, got us over the line. But soon as Thibaut came back, it was Thibaut starting the Champions League final. Like how do you look at these two situations and kind of gauge where the clubs are at, basically, in terms of decision making?
I think we have to take the at least compare it to three stages that we had last season, right? First, it was Kepa and Lunin changing places, and it was horrendous. Our defense basically had no answers. We looked like we had no solutions, and suddenly it was Kepa starting games. A lot of people didn't like it, but we still said, okay, maybe this is the way to go. And then Kepa started making shitty mistake after shitty mistake. And finally, we went on to Lunin, and we were still secure, but there was still that that the thing in the back of your mind that said, if someone puts a cross in, Lunin's going to come out, and he's not going to be sure about it. And the defense knows this, the whole team knows this. So we were always in a period of, or in a mindset of, okay, we might consider it any moment, and it might not be our fault. And I feel like that's the same thing that
But that's the drop of standards from Thibaut to Lunin, right?
Exactly.
It's expected. It's expected.
You
were saying about the City fans?
I'm pretty sure that's what City fans are also feeling. I mean, for me, it's going to be worse than when we had Lunin, because for them, it's a changing goalkeeper every other week. It's not going to work out.
Yeah. Talk to me about the Ake John Stones situation. And Ruben Dias was injured for that period. He might be back tomorrow. Like, how confident are you that they're going to find some semblance of chemistry going into such a crucial night?
I'm hoping they do. I think they have to do. Am I confident? I'm more confident tomorrow
Mm.
than I am for the second leg. I think Stones and Diaz, Ake, if they play, because I personally, I think I would probably play all three. I know other people may disagree with that. They'll play Kushinov. My back line is very old traditional. I'm playing John Stones as my right back. I'm playing Gavardiol as my left back, Ake and Diaz. Whichever way they wanted to do it. I know that's two left footers and it's not the best.
Who will be a right back again, Martin? Sorry.
John Stones.
John Stones, yeah.
I can't have Mateus Nunes as right back tomorrow. If I'm watching Mateus Nunes tomorrow, then yeah. I don't want to watch what Vinny Jr. does to him because he'll be criminal. It'll be criminal what he does to him by the end of the game. But I think they have to step up tomorrow because for me, and I know I'm probably jumping the gun, the way City win this tie is by winning well at the Etihad. The problem is we have a major habit this season, you probably noticed. We don't just concede one goal and then leave it for 25 minutes. We concede in bulks.
Yeah.
We're conceding one goal, then you know the second's coming, then you know the third's coming. And within, listen, we can be 2-0 up, and within 10 minutes we can be 4-2 back down again. Because we're not, because at the moment we're making the silly errors. And then the ground's wanting to. I mean, you watch the body language some of our players when we can see goals. That's the scary thing for me. The body language. They look like they want the world just to open up and let them disappear. There's none of that. You know, the old style. Come on, let's get going. Let's stop this. Let's get our heads screwed on. There's none of that anymore.
That's one thing that I've been very intrigued by because after the Arsenal game, and Bernardo Silva was asked about the celebrations and whatnot. So he kind of insinuated something along the lines, oh yeah, like our win last year meant something. We won the title, but these guys, they haven't done anything yet. So that, I mean, it's well and good if you are, in a position to actually say that and kind of back up your chat, right? But for me, that screams insecurity. That screams of a side that isn't really quite mentally there this season. Do you agree with that, Martin? Like, especially on a confidence level, on a psychological level.
There's been a lot of questions of our players giving up. Do they not care? I don't believe no footballer goes on a pitch and does not care.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
I'm not being a true football fan. If I genuinely believe they're going on and they do not care win, lose or draw,
you wouldn't go to games.
I'd be sat there. But what am I doing? Spending thousands of pounds going where I'm going if they don't care. So I don't think it's that. I think it's just a pure mental fatigue, mental confidence. I think it's also physical confidence. So I do believe some are playing with injuries.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I mean, I don't know how your lads are going around this defensive crisis, but for us, what we've been doing all season is sticking a painkilling injection into their body and go again, because we have nobody. Yeah. So as you know, if you keep putting painkilling injections into players' bodies, it's only going to last so long before their body goes, no, I'm immune to this now. I need to stop. And that's where we've gone with Aki. It's why Aki comes back for 45 minutes. He's off again by half time with the same injury. Diaz comes back, same injury 25 minutes later. And you just, it doesn't surprise me when I'm seeing them go down because the body's not resting. The body's not resting. And that's what the sad thing is for me, the Premier League, the FIFA, UEFA, we need to up our squad sizes. They need to up the squad rules. They need to change maybe potentially the homegrown stuff in England.
Yeah.
Make these squads bigger. Because at the moment, the squads are not big enough to handle the amount of games that are going through.
I mean,
Jacob, we have this similar problem, right?
We have a similar problem, and something that we've been crying out for is, play more of our academy players at the back instead of trying to give Lucas Vazquez a chance. So my question to you, Martin, is why isn't Pep realistically looking at the youth academy, and why aren't you guys fielding? Like, this seems ridiculous. That
because managers don't do it. Do you know what I mean? This academy thing is a fan thing. It's a fan dream.
That's true.
If we put ourselves in these, you've just said it perfectly. Ancelotti doesn't do it. Pep doesn't do it. Nobody does it unless you are absolutely out of players.
Yeah. And there's something really, really special. You can't really, bench them or, like disregard them. But Martin, like, it used to happen quite a lot more often back in the day.
For us, yeah. When we
For us also, Raul came through the academy.
Yeah, no, that was true. It was, I think, can I talk not as a football fan for a minute and talk as
go for
very cynical business person of there's too much money in the game now for managers.
Yeah, the stakes are higher.
Yeah, there's too much money. They haven't. Back in the day, you had the time where you could properly blood a youngster, properly bring him in.
Yeah,
you don't have that now. You do not have that because the immediate thing is the pressure is so high. Even if that youngster makes an error in their opening game or two, they're immediate. You probably noticed this from your fan base. They're scrutinised immediately and gone, why are they not world class the same as the same player that's come out? And you're like, it's a kid.
Yeah.
Kids make mistakes.
Yeah.
It comes down to what, and I've bleated about this, I'm blue in the face. 2025 football has no patience anymore. Patience is a game nobody wants anymore.
100%. Our centre back situation, like Jacob, Jacobo was started as the best youth prospect in our academy, and he has been really putting up the numbers, in Castilla, in Real Madrid B, and he has been scoring crucial goals, not just being defensively adept, but the step up needs to be taken with a bit more patience, right? The Leganes tie was a rude awakening for him, especially considering how Asensio, his peer, did for us a couple of months ago.
Yeah, man. So I can take a look at this in two solutions, right? How managers might approach this. One way is you're short on defenders. You cannot depend on, let's say, Rudiger or Alaba to play every single game. So you need to at least bring in these youngsters in the 60th minute or something when you're ahead. But Ancelotti doesn't do it. I don't know if Pep does it. Ancelotti never introduces players, and when his back is against the wall, which is what happens towards the end of the season, or towards in the bang end of the season, right? And now these guys, they have no experience, they haven't gelled with the team, and it's now a Hail Mary, and it's almost ridiculous to play them. But if they had actually played them before in the start of the season, maybe these guys would have been realistic options for a tie such as this. But that's just not going to happen. I understand. Managers' jobs is not to win, not to bring up the youth academy players, not to grow them, but instead to just win matches and win trophies.
100%. Right. Go on, Martin.
It's perfectly summed up that by Jacob. Is it's not a manager's job to bring a kid through the academy. The manager's job is to get the team winning. And the thing is, I would love to go through the top teams, City, Real Madrid, and you go through even look at Inter Milan now, and probably maybe even Newcastle now, for example, are coming up and coming through. Their objectives on the youth will be very different than what they would have been 5 years ago. Anyway, even I look at City now, and I can go back 15 years for City, and it was all about the youth. As soon as you get on that winning train, it becomes about the money. It becomes about the prestige. It becomes about everything. And like Jacob, if you could bring in a player when your team's winning, so City won the first 7-8 games, believe it or not. We didn't lose a game till November. That'd have been an okay time to bring in a youngster, an O'Reilly for 25 minutes towards the end of a game, let him sit out. But we weren't doing that. We're bringing him into a boiling cauldron of a situation where it takes one spark and everything is going to go off.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as I've said, is we're now asking youngsters of 16, 17 and 18 to bring up 29, 30, 31-year-olds who are flat on the floor on confidence when it should be the 29, 30-year-olds holding the youngsters' hands.
Yeah.
And the youngsters are not only just being asked to play on the game and have confidence, they're being asked to pull these solid professionals through a game of football, and that's not fair. So
100%.
I don't know. It's such a sad point on the academies now. It is, because I think academies are there to make money now.
100%. Yeah, sell elsewhere and move on.
Unless you get that one diamond, because all the football laws have brought in all these PSR and whatever it is, 70%, 80%, and all this.
Yeah.
It's forcing you to do that. Because it's about maximizing your profit.
100%.
That's the way you've got to do it, so you can spend the other way.
Yeah, if you actually sell an academic graduate, what you get from what you get in terms of profits is 100% greater than someone that you buy low and sell high. If he's not your academic product, I think it has something to do with amortization or some stuff. But Martin, this is a good segue into Foden. Whenever he has faced us, he has been a real threat. And looking at our back line and us having just maybe one real defender, two maybe real defenders in there, cries out for Foden's positional intelligence, especially around the box. Some people have been like, when I scroll through the City socials, like I've come across people being incredibly frustrated by him playing deep. But I do understand it's because of your injury ravaged season and whatnot. But when we talked to Steve yesterday, he didn't want Foden starting. That to me is a surprise in 2025 when he should be realistically in his prime.
Yes, Foden's had a very, very well. I don't think Foden's season's been as bad as some are proclaiming.
Yeah.
It's been very on the same. It's been on the same wavelength it has been probably the last 4 years. You always look at Foden; he always turns up in the second half of the season. The problem is with Foden, he hasn't performed this season to the standard of last season.
Right.
And that's it's such a difficult thing because, again, going to go back to what we just said previously, he's one of our own, so we protect him a bit more. Trouble is that protection's wearing thin with some now, and then expecting him to do a KDB or something else. And the big question for me with Foden is, what is his true position?
Yeah.
Because I picked 3 11s for tomorrow, and 2 of them have not got Foden in the team. One has. Because the problem is I've got Mamouche has changed everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do I play Mamouche, KDB, Foden? Do I play, but then I've got to drop Savio.
Yeah. Who has been electric so far, to be honest.
Savio's the guy in form at the minute. So I want Savio to play, but then I want Mamouche to play, but then it has to be either KDB or Foden. Because the thing is, I don't want to take KDB out because KDB loves playing against your lot. So which one do I? This is the main question with Phil Foden. I think just like everyone else, he's on an off season.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Foden is he has to show up next season. He has to show up next season. Because if he doesn't, there will be major questions I'm getting asked moving forward. But my biggest question right now is, where does he fit? What is his best? Is he an 8? Is he a 10? Doesn't want to play in the wing. And I think that doesn't help Foden a lot because he's the most versatile midfielder we have. If I said to you, what would you class Foden as? What would you say?
I think he would excel as a 10, but I've seen enough performances on the flanks to, kind of give him a rep that he is a decent enough winger as well, cutting inside especially.
Yeah. I would agree. I'm starting to think he's sort of an advanced 8.
Right.
He's sort of in between. He's not quite a 10.
Yeah.
And he's not quite an 8. He's a bit of in between. Because my biggest thing is, this is always a worry now, and you will have had this, and you'll know exactly what I mean. I think we'll say this. Everyone's looking at KDB and thinking that's everyone's 10. Everyone's 10 is the exact same as Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And a 10 in one team is a very different 10 in another team.
And the role of number 8s have undergone a drastic change.
They end up becoming we used to have this double pivot. We've ended up with a forward double pivot of 2 10s now in some games.
Yeah.
And you're like, where's that come from? And you end up with one holder and two. But it's the Mamouche thing is the key to me, because I think Mamouche's long-term future is a 10. Believe it or not, I think he's a 10.
Yeah.
So I don't. To answer your question, I probably fuddled it and gone round every house because I hate talking about it.
No, it's all good.
It breaks my heart when I talk about Phil Foden this season. I probably am dropping him tomorrow. Yeah.
Crazy
to out.
Right. Jacob, like you see, you just saw Martin basically take the M5, then the M4, and basically you just get onto every motorway in England. But like, do we have those kind of options on our team? Like, when we look at it, it's pretty much straightforward. Who's going to start tomorrow?
Yeah, for me, there's no doubts. With regards to the availability of players, obviously in the back line, we don't have too many options. But even in the midfield and the forward line, we know who is in form, we know who's not in form, and it's pretty clear cut. Yeah. But for me personally, like to the Foden question, I would be deathly afraid of his left foot. If he's more central, if he's a winger, I feel like he's further away from the goal. It just gives me more peace and calm.
He might actually come on in the second half and make a difference.
Yeah.
Coming into that, to get to the second half without a deficit, Martin, I do think it's going to be incredibly difficult for you guys. Not just because of the way that we are going to set up, and we are going to set up like how we did last year. Be dogged, just let City have the possession. Steve was of the opinion that you guys are going to do the same, but I don't think you guys are going to be equipped to do the same, especially at home. There will be some sort of an expectation, especially considering what City are, this time of the year. But my question is, how does your midfield cope? Kovacic and Bernardo Silva isn't exactly a pivot that can, hold their own. And when you look at our side, you have Fede Valverde, who's probably, the most, lethal number 8 in European football, especially when it comes to his, pace. He just can outrun anyone on his day. How do you cope with that, especially the physicality of our midfield? Jude Bellingham is another guy who just gets back, 30, 40 yards to make a crucial interception.
Yeah, Valverde, by the way, I would have a say tomorrow. Someone asked me a long time ago who your dream signing would be, and it is Valverde. I think the guy is the absolute who's who of a midfielder that literally can do everything.
Isn't he a good mix of the old school and the new school?
Do you know what I see Valverde? A perfect Pep Guardiola player when I look at his versatility and everything he's got in his box tricks. I'm like, Pep would love to be with him. Would love it. And I have to just pray we can, you sell him for some sort of kind of money one day. But I mean, thankfully, it looks like Nico Gonzalez has trained today.
Yeah. That's a massive boost for you guys. I read that. Yeah.
My question is, are we just putting him out there again with another stick an injection in, out you go, we'll see how we cope?
If I was Pep, I would basically kind of wrap him in bubble wrap and save him away for the Bernabeu, where the stakes would be much more higher.
I don't think we will sit back tomorrow. I don't think we can sit back tomorrow. We have to go for it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, to me, to get through this time, we have to be 2 or 3 clear. I'm saying 2. 2 isn't really enough. We need to be 3 up. And even then, you will sit there and you'll go, we still think we can pull this back. You get that first goal in the Bernabeu 5 minutes in, and then off you go again. As Steve said yesterday, the Bernabeu can play tricks on you. It can play tricks on your mind. It can play tricks on your body. It can really send you sideways. It's got that aura about it, and well-deserved aura. But I mean, here's my question: do you think you will sit back tomorrow? Because to me, I think if you went forward, you would get joy. I think you would get joy.
We would set back basically how we actually play the big ties. And Martin, we have faced each other, over the last 5 years or so. And I'm pretty sure you'll be well aware what I mean by setting back. It wouldn't be exactly, Stoke City mode, but it would be more of a maybe. I don't think we defend. Our defensive style, might be a bit better than Arsenal, because Arsenal sometimes look extremely one-dimensional. Maybe it's because of the quality, of the players that we possess. But again, City, if I'm not wrong, correct me, Jacob and Martin. You guys have been through the very same ties I've been through. When we win, we sit back, we give City possession, and then the moment City makes a mistake, that's when we pounce. We just completely rip through City in a couple of passes. Whereas where City take, 10, 15, City likes to feel the ball, and that will be the case again tomorrow, I believe. And that'll just play into Carlos' hands, Martin, and it has done most of the time. I mean, the 4-0 defeat at the Etihad is an anomaly. You guys were that clinical that night. Probably, I don't think you would be in any other, matchup in the Champions League. I've never seen City be that clinical.
I've never
especially
seen
Haaland.
To be honest, I've never seen Bernardo Silva like that. Bernardo Silva was a man possessed that night.
100%, yeah.
And this is what I've always said to even some of my fellow Blues. That level of game was above and beyond. That was not the norm. City went to a new level that night.
Yeah.
That even Real Madrid, I remember Vinny Jr. Ancelotti said afterwards, we would not expect. That was not what we knew they were good. We weren't expecting that. We weren't expecting that crowd. We weren't expecting. Everything just came together that night. I've never heard the Etihad like that in many, many a year. The Etihad was rocking from minute 1 to minute 90 odd, and we were there. That hasn't happened since. That was just one of them special nights when everything comes together. That was I'll put it this way, that was as close as prime Anfield on a European night as you'll ever get. What you got?
And I think it has. I think it had a dose of vengeance as well, like considering what happened the previous year.
I think that's I'm not sure it helps. It doesn't help, but because we're now on this annual thing.
Yeah.
We kind of both know what we're both going to do now. Yeah. Ancelotti knows what Pep's going to do. Pep knows what Ancelotti's going to do, and I think it's coming. Don't think the managers can do a lot of coaching in this anymore. I think it comes down to the players on the night, because if you're Pep and you're Ancelotti, Ancelotti knows exactly what Pep's going to do tomorrow. Pep will know what Ancelotti's going to do at the Bernabeu, and vice versa. Because I've gone back and I watched a few of the games. And it's been exactly the same, except 1 year. 1 year in the Bernabeu when we won the treble, which is where we shut shop up.
Yeah.
Normally, it was like the year before where you get your Jack Grealishes trying to pull off stunning goals in the 92nd minute, and you go up the other end and score.
Yeah. Yeah.
That 1 year we learned, it was just keep the ball. As long as we've got the ball, Real Madrid can't hurt us. Just don't give them. I've never seen us go to the corner flag in the Bernabeu.
Just frustrate us. Do you reckon that's going to be the game plan again?
I think that's the only way we get through. The only way we get through is attacking you tomorrow night, getting the 3 goals at some point, scaring you, and going to the Bernabeu and playing it like we did in the treble year, where we can hopefully get the goal up, and just sit on it. And I don't. There's been too much brought into this sexy football stuff.
100%. Yeah.
The result, I'm not bothered. Nobody remembers the performance afterwards unless it leads to something special at the end. Nobody remembers the
That's gospel to me. These guys over here, they're very tired regarding, Carlos' play style and whatnot. Very slow, passive, just being extremely cautious with how they navigate European ties.
Can I ask? I've got a question for you two. Mbappe. I know Steve asked it last night.
Oh yeah.
Because he sort of.
Yeah.
I watched some of it. I know at the start he had a rough start.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of expect. I don't know whether it was the Benzema factor. I don't know what it was. But I look at your front three. I look at Rodrigo, who again is another player who I would look to. I look at Vinny Jr. and I look at Mbappe. To me, the best front three on form in the league, in the world, probably.
Yeah.
If you sat back, but I hate the word sit back because you don't sit back. You know what I mean? You play a little bit more conservative. Yeah. Don't we just use as breakaways? And is that getting the best out of them, or do we wait to see them three the best of them at the Bernabeu?
I'll let Jacob take that.
Expect from the three of them. It was your question earlier about our defense being on form.
I think it doesn't matter how good the defense is. The fact is, if you give these three front players the ball and if you allow them to create, they're not doing a good job. We've seen it time and time again when teams sit back against us. That's the most effective strategy. These guys their natural instinct is to take the ball wide and somehow cut it back, but that just doesn't happen when you have a ton of defenders in the box. So the only way that this front three, performs at their level best, at least as of now, when they don't have that much interplay between them, is to just play on the counter and somehow get the ball to Vinny, get the ball to Mbappe, and then run and then have a cutback. I don't think them having enough patient build-up play is going to really work in this fixture.
I don't know if Martin saw the derby the weekend against Atleti. Atleti was super organized and they had a very clear game plan, like what Jacob just described, where if they frustrate these guys, especially who are, let's be honest, they're all wingers, right? And three of them would ideally start on the left. It's just crazy how we have recruited this way and basically let Carlo figure it out. It's unfair on the man, unfair on a guy who won 2 doubles. Let's not get it twisted. 2 doubles in 3 years on any level, let alone the very top level, is an insane achievement. And he gets disrespected, in my opinion, by the board, by the transfer strategy. Like what Jacob said, when these guys try to combine, it's gonna be out wide. And let's be honest, it's like if it's Diaz or Ake or Stones, it's just Jude Bellingham. They have to keep their eye on, because nobody else is making a run into the box. Fede will be watching our back line.
Jude Bellingham's a funny one with City fans. I don't know whether it's because he turned us down. I don't know whether they've never forgotten that part or what, but you see, I watched Jude Bellingham for Dortmund when he comes to the Etihad, and he was man of the match every time. Yeah. Not quite seen that in a Real Madrid shirt when he's come to the Etihad. But he does. I always, because what you just said, he is very good at coming in late. The box. And it reminds me a little bit like Rodri. Rodri can do that. Come in late. That's what we've missed. Yeah. Come in late at the edge of the box and hit him from 25 yards out and put them in the top bins. And I've seen that. I've seen Bellingham do that. I just see, when you just mentioned them names, I'm just getting more and more terrified going into tomorrow night. I really am. You're not making this easy. The only question I have really is, are you disappointed we're facing each other so early now? Because I think Jacob made the point earlier. This is not a quarter-final or a semi-final and one of us going to win it. This is a playoff. Because I don't like the new format. And I know you people love this new format for this exact reason tomorrow night. Because one of the big boys is going out in their eyes.
I mean, Martin, you guys had one job to keep the lead against PSG, see the game out, and we would have waited a couple of months to face each other again. But that's just the way.
In the playoffs, because I know how we have. How have you?
It's complicated to say the least, because we lost against Milan at home, a Milan side that their last big hurrah was probably 3-4 years ago when they won the league with Ibra up top. Now it's basically a Milan that is strung together by a few part-timers. Like if you deep it, why Walker went there is just speaks volumes. Like he is a player, in my opinion, who is finished at the top level, but Milan still kind of, acquired him thinking he's going to regenerate their backline. To an extent, he has. I've watched a few games, but Milan is nowhere near the side that we are or you are, and they bet us 3-1 at home. It was an absolutely shocking week, losing 3-1 to them and then getting, thumped 4-0 by Barcelona and then 5-2 in the Clásico as well.
I did watch the Barcelona game. I did watch the Barca game.
Which one, in the league or the Super Cup?
What was the one with Rafinha and Lewandowski had a field day? Was that the cup?
It was the league.
It was the league. It was the league.
The league, yeah. That one.
Us in big games, Martin. We have just 2 draws. In all of the big games we have played, we have just have 2 draws. That just tells you the whole story. Like, we haven't really been the big team slayers yet, at least, and we don't look like it. I'll be very honest. I'm just hoping that our Champions League black magic, that we like to kind of put in the back of our minds as something that's going to carry us over to help us out again. I'll be very honest.
I sound like none of us are excited for tomorrow.
It's gotten to the point where it's too much, Martin. I'll be honest. Right. Let me get into a few of the comments quickly. Madrid TV, big up yourself. He was mentioning Vamos Madrid, bring on tomorrow. Real Madrid against City is the El Clásico of the Champions League. Martin, do you agree? It is the quarter tie.
It's becoming it, and it's becoming us and Real Madrid every year.
Right. Madrid TV was also mentioning Madrid has never won at the Etihad. It's time we break this tomorrow. I need a win. Yeah, it'll be a big statement if we win at the Etihad, because it's gonna really banish some of the curses that we have had looming over us. Every time we play City, it's almost like Etihad tie. Just it's a write-off. It's basically a free hit. If we actually get a result, great. Otherwise, you just pray. Because remember last year when the second leg was at the Etihad, I had absolutely no faith that we were going through, despite the fact that we probably host one of the best squads in Europe. We were kind of coming off of the back with the 4-0 thrashing as well. So I was incredibly nervous, but Ancelotti had a game plan that eventually worked. Linium CFC says she doesn't rate Bellingham. I mean, I'll be very honest with you guys. You guys should watch Bellingham a lot more, especially in La Liga. He isn't the guy who looks flashy, a la Pedri or the Zidane that you guys compare him to. But given a particular key moment in a game, he is the ultimate game changer. Like, no matter if he's backtracking or no matter if he is actually in the box, sniffing around for a half chance that might fall his way. He isn't lucky to put up the numbers he has put up. No player in the top 5 leagues has, that number of goals and assists compared to Bellingham. No one else has. Not Pedri, not your Foden. No one has it. It is for a reason. It's because he's so precisionally intelligent that he basically keeps Carlo in the job, doing multiple sides of the same role. It's incredible what Bellingham brings to the side. I hope you guys rate him properly. You guys should have rated him properly when he actually carried you guys all the way to the final. Him and Saka, weren't they crucial?
Bellingham has a very weird relationship over here. Some rate him, some don't. Some, like I said to you, I'm not sure if it's because he turned City down a bit. I don't know.
Okay.
What it is, but there's some. I mean, it's one of them. I will say this: I've not seen the same Bellingham I saw at Dortmund than what I'm seeing at Madrid. And maybe that's Ancelotti. He seems to have a bit more freedom at Dortmund.
Dortmund just let players shine.
Yeah,
Haaland used to look better. Don't you think Haaland used to look better at Dortmund, Martin?
Yeah,
100% he did. 200% he did. Yeah. He was a better all-round player.
I think it shows that I'm a firm believer on just because a player's in form at one club does not mean he's going to come and slot into your club straight away.
Yeah.
I'm one of the. Believe it or not, I get killed for this. I don't think Mo Salah would work at City under Pep. I don't think he would work. Because I think Pep would totally put an handbrake onto him and change him as a footballer.
That's what I pray he doesn't do to Omar Mamouche as well.
Jack Grealish was the one. Because Grealish had the freedom of Villa Park.
Mm.
Comes to City, gets put on the left wing and told handbrake.
Yeah.
And the old man Mamouche, I know. I mean, it's only 3 games. One of them was Leighton Orient, and that was a welcome to England sort of game. That one.
Yeah.
Just kick shit at you and get.
He wasn't used to that kind of physicality. It was very evident.
You could see that. I think Nico Gonzalez wasn't used to that coming out the Portuguese league when he's like, guys just landed on me. The referee's like, carry on. You know how it is.
Yeah.
The one thing I will give Bellingham, though, because the one thing I will give him, he's shown he's got the mental capacity. Because I've seen so many players, because I'm showing my age, I'm 42.
Yeah.
I've seen so many players at the Santiago Bernabeu get destroyed by it. You walk into Real Madrid and they are like, rabbit in a daylight, rabbit in a headlight, and you don't know what to do. I've seen it from Jonathan Woodgate to even probably Michael Owen. I don't think Michael Owen did what he should have done, went with his reputation.
Yeah.
I've seen it, young Brahim Diaz when he first went. I love Diaz. I don't think he's thing, but I'm not sure but I saw it at City with Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips leave Leeds, come to City and went, what is this?
Yeah.
Like a wow moment. But that's what I will give Bellingham. Bellingham has taken to it well and has not let the club or the stature of the club override him. So I will give him that.
Jacob,
he's still young enough.
100%. Yeah, he's what, 21. Jacob, Jude Bellingham tomorrow against this City side, he's going to have a huge say.
Yeah, if not in the crucial moments in attack, I think we're going to get maybe 3-4 clear-cut opportunities. Maybe Bellingham is involved, maybe he's not, but he's definitely going to have a huge say, because if you look at our left-hand side, the way we defend, he just defends from the front foot all the way to support the left back. So he's going to have a huge say in how
it's basically what Fede does on the right.
Yeah. Bellingham does that and more, and he's going to arrive late in the box. He's going to be a main threat, basically, if we have to cross the ball in.
Jude Bellingham, especially given the fact that Mbappe, Vinicius, they all have this aversion to actually being in the box and being on the end of things. It's going to be Jude Bellingham, I believe, and you guys better watch out. He might not have a game that would really catch your eyes. He is the guy who makes things stick. It's as simple as that. You wouldn't watch Toni Kroos and say, oh yeah, he's basically being as elegant as Iniesta. You wouldn't. They're just completely different kind of players. But yeah, I get what Lenny was talking about earlier. But big up yourself. She was also mentioning that was something special. The best atmosphere I've heard at City. It's derby time. Big up Ashik. He was mentioning, I'm already predicting the next season we'll play City in a knockout tie again. Yeah. I mean, the money makers, they have a field day with this matchup. It's
I don't think City and Real Madrid will end up in the playoffs next season.
They won't.
I think both teams will navigate themselves better out of this situation again.
Yeah. 100%. Dennis the Great, big up yourself. He was mentioning Ala Madrid, big up Sunil, Jacob, and Martin. Right, big up yourself. Madrid was mentioning if a team like Tottenham can put four past City at their backyard, so can we. Vamos. Yeah, that was something that really took me by surprise. I mean, Tottenham and the manager have absolutely no idea how to survive. At the very top, and what they did to you, Martin, it really kind of put everything into perspective.
Yeah, no, it did. We got walloped. Only enough, first 20 minutes, we should have been 3 up.
Yeah.
It was one of them, Haaland hits the post. Vicario pulls off a save. It was one of them, and City take the chances. At the time, we had a story of we couldn't finish and we couldn't keep a clean sheet. So both ends of the pitch were getting exploited. Now, we have a little... I can see light at the end of the tunnel now. I can see with Etihad and Kushinov and Mamouche and Nico Gonzalez, and I'm really looking forward to Echeverria. Can't wait to see this kid. Cannot wait to see this kid. So yeah, no, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but for me, this is just about a consolidation season. Get top 4, win a trophy maybe, and then we'll see where we go next year.
If I'll be very honest, if a gun is held to my head, I wouldn't really write off a season. But I get where City is at. I mean, come on, you guys got to take a break. 4-peat, the Centurions, the treble. I mean, there has to be.
No one's ever done in English football. We're allowed 1 year off. We're allowed 1 year.
100%. And I believe, Liverpool, I mean, yeah, they're good, but City at their best blows Liverpool out of the water. I'll be very honest. This season,
I'll be straight with you. I don't think City are as bad as people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think City have come down a few levels.
Yeah.
I think City was so far ahead of the other teams in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Because what other team wins 1 in 13 games and is still in the top 4 or 5 of the league? Either that's shame on the rest of the league, or he just told you where City were.
Mm.
It was so. You probably noticed it, in the league. If Real Madrid are on form and they're gone, you are literally 10, 20 points over the hill and gone. But if you have that relaxed season back, which can happen, people don't. They make it as though it's your demise and everyone else has become this amazing team, and it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that. I'm not. I mean, Barcelona have just become this super team all of a sudden. It's just you don't realise where you are. Trouble is, I keep saying it. We live in a moment and we don't appreciate what's coming or what's been. We don't do that anymore as human beings.
100%. Yeah. There is a greed element to it. 100%. Lily was mentioning, we got bet at home by the worst United side ever as well. That also, kind of shook me by surprise. But it's a derby against United. Shit can happen. But yeah, she was also mentioning Arsenal and Spurs love playing for the MCFC trophy. I don't get it. I don't get the obsession. It's a bit mental considering the fact that Arsenal never really has won anything significant for the last 20 years. Ed C, big up yourself. He was mentioning City cannot concede in the first 3 minutes. How important is the first goal, Jacob, tomorrow?
I think if you take Martin's advice and listen to him, he says if we can put past one goal, it's going to be much easier to put past the second goal and the third goal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Ancelotti is not going to see it that way. I feel like he's going to sit back and then just wait for the other opportunity rather than go in for the kill. So I don't think the first goal is going to be that important. I feel like the second half is where the tie is about to be set. At least if this first leg is that important to begin with.
100%. Martin, what's your prediction gonna be for the second? I mean, for the first leg. Second leg, I hope we can link up again. If your time allows.
No, definitely. We'll sort something out for next week. Because unfortunately, I'm not going. I'm not going to the Bernabeu. So I can come on Monday.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna go 3-0.
Okay. I'm not going to smoke at that. I have learned my lesson. The last time I smoked, it actually happened.
Because I'm one of them. Even because I've said all week City will beat Real Madrid, and I've said we'll win the tie.
That's a bit cheeky, ain't that, Martin?
No, it's covering myself because I know what City are like this year. City, right. I think City will. Because I think City will turn up tomorrow. The fans, everything will turn up tomorrow. Then I want to see what we do at the Bernabeu. Because that first 5-10 minutes at the Bernabeu will tell me what we're going to do. Because as Jacob, that's my worry. Once we concede one, it generally becomes a landslide into 2, 3, 4. So I'm telling you now, Madrid will score at least 2 goals in this tie. At least.
We are hoping we score at least 2 tomorrow, but it's unrealistic. I ideally take
a draw. It's game over for us. We're out. We have to win tomorrow.
But us at home hasn't really been convincing either. Jacob knows it very well. What's your prediction like, man, for tomorrow?
I think we're going to lose 2-1. I think it's going to be a cagey affair, and
Right.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in that tomorrow.
Because of the way we are going to be set up, right? Yeah, the neutrals tuning in. I mean, brace yourselves. It's not going to be
You're
as
about to see some
eye-catchy as
proper haram football, yeah.
Yeah, haram football. Exactly. I mean, next week it's going to be a lot more
Usually
open.
charge. Tommy's tea,
Yeah. Ashik was mentioning tomorrow Man City 3, Madrid 7. Yeah, he's referring to the infamous I track Frankfurt scoreline in the Champions League.
I wouldn't rule it out.
What was that?
I wouldn't rule it out the way we're defending.
Oh yeah. I mean, it could be the other way as well. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. This tie taking place in the round of 32, if you want to call it, and both teams kind of being in immense self doubt is something that I never saw coming, especially and us being top of the league and not really being that good. Also, this tie has all the makings of something that you quite can't see coming. The bookies might have us as the favorites, but it's football, and it's a funny game. Last year, City saw what happened. So when Martin says 3-0, I wouldn't really laugh at that, because last time Steve mentioned 4-0, I had to hold that. I had to hold that big time, and eat a humble pie. So I know what it's going to be like at the Etihad. We just hope we can survive without a deficit.
Learning, Mohammed. You're learning. That's what it is. You're learning. You're used to each other now too much. That's what
100%,
it is.
100%. But yeah, big up people in the chat. Big up our sponsors as always. Go check them out. Links are in the description below. Big up Martin and the Mancunian way as well for always showing love and finding the time to actually come on and have some proper football chat. None of that clowning. Especially with Steve and you. We actually have pretty interesting conversations. I look forward to it. That's the only positive that I take from a City matchup. The games usually, like I'm basically on the ventilator. You can imagine, Martin. But the previews are what I really look forward to. But yeah, again, big up Jacob as well.
I enjoy it. It's becoming a real annual thing this now.
Yeah.
Which is really good. I really enjoy it. It's top channel. It's growing. You, Jacob Mohammed, really good people. Enjoy it. Hopefully one day we'll get out there. I've not been for a very, very long time. So the last time I went was the Mancunian Jacko collar off. That's why I mentioned it.
That was 12 years ago.
Yeah, that was the last time I was there. I wasn't there for the Pellegrini. I can't do maths.
Right.
But I think City and Real Madrid, I think we're sort of intertwining now. Even managers, we're intertwining. We're looking at each other. And I think there is that respect being built between the two clubs at the moment. Sorry, by the way, big up to your players tonight who come out onto the pitch and they've walked around the badge. They've not walked.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. But they usually do that.
Did the same last year. So you can tell there's that mutual respect between the players and the coaches and the clubs. You can see that.
100%.
But big up anytime. And you're more than welcome to come on ours if you want in a bet.
Yeah. Me and my friend is actually going to join. Just send us the link over and we'll be there.
We're going to start a little bit late. So I'm just going to grab a quick bite to eat.
Start at
9,
just let us know the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. But yeah, big up the people over here. Smash the likes on the way out and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Madrid.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features 2 interchangeable blade heads, one called the 4-blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for full precision. Best thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother, dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.